I first heard about the fact that President Bush was vowing to veto a bipartisan bill to expand child health care, my first thoughts were personal and not so political. I recall the call after the President had his election secured to come to Austin to meet with him and a group of religious leaders. Talk about poverty and faith-based initiatives. We were ushered into, 20 of us, ushered into a little Sunday school classroom in Austin, Texas. He took a seat, said he wanted to listen to us, and he did listen, sometimes more than most presidents do. He asked this question, how do I speak to the soul of America? My answer to that was simple, focus on the children. Their plight is our shame, I told him, and their promise is our future. Reach them and you reach our soul. He nodded his agreement. Discussion was over, he kind of filed around for a while, talking to us individually. And he came to me and he said, Jim, I don't understand poor people. I've never lived around them. I don't know how they think, how they feel. I'm a white Republican guy who doesn't get it. How do I get it? It's a moment of candor and honesty that I seldom see in presidents. I said, Mr. President-elect, you've got to listen to poor people and those who work with them. He nodded. Again, seemed to agree. He gave his inaugural address and he said these words in that speech, America at its best is compassionate. In the quiet of American conscience, we know that deep and persistent poverty is unworthy of our nation's promise. And whatever our views of its cause, we can agree that children at risk are not at fault. Many in our country do not know the pain of poverty. We can listen to those who do. We talked about compassionate conservatism, and we don't talk about that anymore. It was a long time ago. Now, the rumor is, or the vow is, he's about to veto a bill that I recall when he was running for office, he chided House Republicans for spending and tax cuts on the backs of poor people. Those were his words. Now he's being chided by Republican colleagues who say this is a good bill. This is an unhealthy veto. What happened to this president? We're wasting more money in Iraq on corruption than it would cost to insure 10 million kids. How have we lost our way? The faithful of all creeds, you'll hear them today, have barraged this White House now for weeks, and will the Congress. But before he vetoes this bill, I hope the president thinks back to a little meeting in a Baptist Sunday school room, remembering that day what was in his heart and the hope that was in the room. He knows the Bible. The president should remember that Jesus said to suffer the little children. But this veto is not what he meant. It is simply wrong when health becomes a commodity and is accessible to wealth. SCHIP is a bill. It's a program. It's not a perfect bill. It's trying to fix the problem, and a bipartisan group, broad bipartisan group, thinks this is a good bill. This is a step in the right direction. So to veto a bill without any alternative and simply to abandon those kids to a market system which is failing to cover them is simply morally unacceptable. This is an unhealthy veto. What happened to this president? We're wasting more money in Iraq on corruption than it would cost to insure 10 million kids. How have we lost our way? We must not allow this to become an ideological battle over healthcare systems. This is about a program, a specific program that will insure kids like Emmanuel Cleaver. That's what it's about. It's not about healthcare's theories. It's about the children. And if the president vetoes this bill, overriding the presidential veto will become our new faith-based initiative.